everybody. I'm doing a part two. So I was channeling God in the last video. I also channeled wisdom from this ruby. This is a raw ruby. The messages that were coming forward were all about soulmates, twin flames, exploring loneliness, exploring how loneliness feels as a life lesson, how we judge ourselves as the reason for our loneliness, or why am I here and I don't have a soulmate? What's wrong with me? What's the point of living if you don't have someone to share your life with? These types of concepts we are exploring in part one. And so now I'm going to make a part two. And I have the Ruby in case Ruby wants to share anything with us. I also started this on March 3rd, so 3-3. And I thought it would be fun to include some 3-3 wisdom if that wanted to come through, some crown chakra healing. Didn't really talk much about 3-3 or like 33, the angel number, or crown chakra. Kind of came up a little bit. So we'll see what all comes up in this message. And I'm just going to keep following through where I kind of left off in the last one. If you're interested in checking out the last message, part one, I'll put a link in the description. So are you guys ready for this? Do you think it's going to be super awesome? You think we're going to learn something here today, receive some healing? I do. I think we can. I think we can learn something. I think we can receive some healing. I think that's definitely what's going to happen. Okay. God. Ruby. 33. Crown chakra. Soulmates, twin flames. Loneliness. Okay. So I am going to God. All right. And I experienced God. The representation, the image that came to me was this black, larger than life energy being with a big star over his right eye. So I'm going to this larger than life energy, purely loving, a part of all of us. And I feel this ache in my heart, okay? That's the experience I'm having right now. And it feels like loss. Feels like a void. It feels like emptiness. I see a human being who's eating food in order to compensate for what is a lack of love in their life. There's other ways that we try to fill the void. And it feels like a suffocation. It feels like a starvation. Loneliness, a separation from feeling like you have a true companion, someone to spend your life with. It can feel like this. And God is emanating this experience for me. He's not saying anything yet. No words of wisdom yet. Just we're experiencing this together right now. And God is inspiring me to shift gears because we're starting a new message. This part two is we're going to take, it's like going to be a new style, a new way of sharing, and to be open to whatever comes, okay? In my mind, I thought, okay, part two, I'm going to go to God. We're going to use all the same concepts. But God's saying, nope. We're going to start with something totally fresh. So I don't even know if we're going to talk about soulmates and twin flames in this message. He's already like kind of laughing. He's like, just watch, just watch. And I'm starting to see the scene change. And there's this beautiful, vibrant blue color. And it's more like a sky blue. Not like a blue, but more like a sky blue color. And I can't tell if I'm separate, sort of like looking at the sky. If I'm a part of this blue experience, maybe I'm in a space that's made out of blue color, blue energy. I'm just sort of here. There feels like a friction, like I want more out of this than I can receive. And so as I'm trying to access more, all it's doing is hurting me. I'm wanting more than I can actually feel or receive. And then I see a version of myself going into the blue and trying to hug it. And all it does is like kind of electrocute me. And I feel like an insect that just got burnt by a light, okay? One of those heat lamps from outside. It just got singed. In the next scene, I see a human being, and the human being is there's bars in front. So it's like a prisoner standing at a prison cell and holding onto the bars and wanting out. What's interesting is if I turn around to see what's behind me, I see there's a vast world behind me. But for some reason, I cling to the bars as though I want to go in this direction and this direction only. And the fence is up saying, sorry, you can't go in this direction. And then I'm sort of like, no, why am I locked in such a small box? Why is the world like this? Why does it put these walls up? And then I see God scratching his head. He's like, but look around you. Like, there's more to life than just this direction that you're insisting on. Why don't you change things up? Why don't you try a different approach, a different direction? But I want this direction. I want this direction. And I need it to be this direction, this way, the way I want it. I need it. And I see years go by and like crying on the ground, like God never hears me. God never cares what I have to say. God doesn't see me. God. Nobody. It's just me. It's just me. I have no help. I have nobody. I just want to go in this direction. I see a whole lifetime spent trying to go just this one way instead of really seeing all the vast possibilities. And I see in the next lifetime being born into the same situation. And God wants to know what you're clinging to in your life. The one and only way that it could ever be. The way that you want it to be. The way that makes it best for you. And he wants you to think about how you turn it around, how you give yourself access to so many more options than just one. What's interesting is I see this persona of a human, okay, clinging to the bars, crying, turns around only to move the bars from one direction to the other direction. Again, feels imprisoned. And now they start to see that no matter which direction they look, there's walls up, and they're stuck, they're trapped. So now the lesson is what you're holding on to that you aren't aware of. So I become this person in the walls of what is now like a rectangular prison cell. And every direction I go, there's bars up. And I just sit down. I feel like, oh man, this is going to make me cry. You know the movie Dumbo? I remember being a kid and watching Dumbo, and that was like such an emotional roller coaster for me because I didn't understand why Dumbo had to be separated from his mother, who was just trying to protect him. It broke my heart. Oh man. It's hard. It's like reliving this. Like I'm watching this scene for the first time, and it's so emotionally hard. It's like, what's wrong with the world, you know? Like when Bambi's mother dies. But this is like a mother trying to protect her baby. And she's imprisoned. And there's nothing that she can do. And her baby has to go through these experiences that are degrading. But triumphs, right, in the end, becomes an extraordinary representation of a very strong elephant with a special gift that only by being separated from its mother could it achieve that. And God is showing me something interesting about walls. And when we become really desperate, like we need it to be our way, we need to go in this direction, sometimes the walls are up because we don't realize how our energy could influence others that need to go through their own lessons. So in a way, the universe or God or however you want to see it, the walls appear because we can't influence the lessons of others if those lessons have to be followed through for certain reasons. It won't make sense to us. It'll feel cruel. It will feel wrong. It won't feel fair. But I tell God, if I'm a part of you, then why can't I decide for myself what I feel is just, and that I could be in control of these walls? Like, what if I could decide that the lessons are over? What if I could do that? If I am a part of God, God is a part of me. That means I'm no different than the man that's sitting here with the star over his eye. That's merely just a reflection of myself. So I sit and I stare at these walls. And I'm literally Jumbo, the mother elephant. Mrs. Jumbo. And I say, I'm God. I'm going to walk through these walls. And I mean, I feel like, you guys ever try this as a kid? Like, I've tried this so many times as a kid, where I tried to move things with my mind or my hands. Like, I really felt strongly like I should be able to move things with my mind or my hands. It never worked. Like, I couldn't flip a switch. I couldn't turn things on or off. Like, it never worked, okay? So in this moment, as this like massive elephant mother, I'm like, I can do this. I can walk through walls. And I'm like going to the bars, and I haven't actually tested it out in the journey. So let me go try it out. Let's see if I can do it, okay? I believe I can. I believe I can. In the energy world, I can do anything, but this is supposed to mimic what it's like to be human, and so we can learn something, okay? I'm walking through the bars now, because the bars were never there. They were an illusion of what I decided I can have or I can't have. And I show God the scene of the movie. How was Mrs. Jumbo supposed to get out of her prison? In real life, like, I know we're talking about a story, but if this story was real life, how is she ever going to get out of that? It's like a person being locked in a jail cell. The prisoners don't escape for a reason, you know? He shows me the element of time is lock-picking this prison. And the element of strength and willpower, the amount of love and trust and faith, lockpicks this situation. I say, well, God, what's the difference between dying in prison and, like, you don't know? Like, okay, Mrs. Jumbo can lockpick this situation all for the rest of her life and die in there, and never really be set free. So, and now Dumbo is like a full-grown elephant. So again, she's still like has this motivation that she can't follow through with, because time is part of the bars. Time is not. You could say time is an illusion, but in this version of a fight against life, fight against what you can and cannot have, there's a reality in effect. I don't know why God's raising his eyebrows like there's a reality in effect. Really, what's this reality you speak of? And I'm really gonna have to think here. I mean, let's say we change up the meaning. Let's say we're talking about kind of like part one. A lonely person desires soulmate. No matter what they do, years go by, and it's like there's always like walls up that are not allowing them to access or find a companion. So patience and perseverance is lockpicking that reality. Now they're at the last breaths of their life. Like, so what is the missing link here? Like, what are we? I need to know something. Maybe I don't know exact. Like, what is the missing link here? God shows me the missing link is in the behavior. And he takes me back to somebody who's eating, somebody who's shopping, somebody who's working after hours, somebody who's like there's certain behaviors that try to fill a void. And the void is like a lack of love, okay? So if we can't fill the void with love, then we fill it with other things. Okay, so let's take a look at the human active behaviors. We have to stop the behavior in order to start the healing process, which is to walk through walls. What if we can't? What if we don't know the behavior still, though? And God shows me a person crying behind closed doors, a person on the phone with people yelling or complaining about, etc. A person talking, writing in a journal or diary, talking inside themselves about a situation day after day after day after day after day after day. I'm lonely. I want more money. I want to lose weight. There's like there's a behavior. There's a want, a desire. There's a want. Could even be coming from the heart, but there's the lack. There's something that is preventing. There's something in the way of going from I'm in this experience point A. I want to be in this experience point B. So I'm going back to Mrs. Jumbo, and she wants to be with her baby. So she's learning how to calm down, how to approach the other elephants, how to be deemed safe now and not a threat. What if she maintains her behavior of being an angry mother and never stops? God is like, come back to me, come back to me. You're thinking too hard on this. So I'm going to go back to God here and just let things flow, okay? Let's just see what images come up here. Okay. I'm just relaxing. I'm breathing in blue, again, like sky blue color. I'm just breathing it in. And I'm letting my heart feel this energy. I'm letting myself be peaceful. And I'm waiting. And as time passes, my problems change. And my relationship with my problems change. And my relationship with myself changes. And there's some things that I'll get to interact with and some things I won't. It's like life will have some opportunities and some closed doors. And no matter what you do, it's just going to be kind of the experience that you actually want to have every single time. And he shows me when we look at the bigger picture of life, we start to realize that we get really caught up with the moment. But we don't choose to take a look at the bigger picture of who we are as people over a lifetime. And the events that mold and shape us into extraordinary beings. If we just stayed focusing on Dumbo being made fun of, we would never get to the part where Dumbo actually proves himself and makes his mother proud. And proves those other elephants wrong. And makes an unexpected friend. And Mrs. Jumbo now feels differently about her son and herself and the other elephants. Through the window, through the pathway of time, we learned these lessons. These lessons are immaculate, gorgeous gifts. And he's kind of saying that when you start to feel imprisoned by your situation, let your situation go. And now explore a new experience. So if you're focusing a lot on feeling lonely, then you need to shift your focus on something else. If you're feeling bewildered, if you're feeling trapped in a situation, and you're putting all your energy in it, you're talking to everybody in your life about it, and it's years go by, you have to continue to take time out to shift your energy into other directions. Otherwise, you're clinging to the bars of what you can't change. But God reminds you that the story of your life, the story of your whole life, is the most precious story of them all, not the story of just this moment. It's the story of all the moments that mold and shape you into the person that you are. So a part of that story is you couldn't cope, so you ate and gained a lot of weight. Part of your story is you felt defeated, so you cried every single night for 5 years, took antidepressants, thought about committing suicide, found your way out of this, and decided to make changes. And now you're seeing the story of a person, not a story of the person in the moment, but the bigger picture. This is so important that we see the bigger picture. Because now you'll see how you walk through the bars of your prison through time and patience and love and working on it and falling into the pits and falling into addictions, falling into things that seemed to be a coping mechanism at the time, but those two were learning experiences as well. And he reminds me that that's what this ruby is saying. Remember, in the first part one, the ruby is saying about how the bad is just as important as the good, and how the lessons mold and shape us. The good experiences and the bad experiences mold and shape us into extraordinarily bright, enlightened beings. It's not the good experiences that make us brighter. It appears as though we are bright because the experiences make us happy, right? But when we go through the dark path that breaks us down and we become the mud beneath our own feet, we become the gross, we become the shattered, there is so much to gain from that. There's so much light that happens through that process of breaking down and then rebuilding and finding oneself again in a brand new way. Somebody who has lost the courage now finds the courage later in life. Wow, what a story, you know? The story of, I went to the candy shop and then I went to, and everything in my life was perfect and wonderful and I got everything I ever wanted. It's like, wow, another chapter where you get everything you want. Wow, this is really boring. I'm like not into this book at all. The story of the development of a personality over years of their life, to becoming a stronger person, to being broken down, to giving up. Now that's a good story. Now that's a story that is invigorating, inspiring, awing. It brings so much meaning to the whole point of life. To conquer ourselves, to conquer our fear, to feel conquered and defeated, but then to face that defeat and realize that it never really existed in the first place because it was simply meant to be like this. So I could learn these lessons, walk through these walls, and now I'm free. Because I could see the bigger story and the greater meaning of my life by living my life. Not by attaching myself to what I don't like right now. By shifting gears, turning around and looking in another direction and saying, okay, I'm going to do something different with my time. I'm going to expand my experiences, not just keep doing the same thing that isn't working. So I can't stop doing the same thing that isn't working. Well, I'm going to add some new ingredients. I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to add this new experience into my life, and make it more meaningful, make it more well-rounded, work on myself a little bit, try some new things that are outside the box. Now we aren't facing the prison walls and things that we can't change, but we're facing a vast universe full of possibilities, and we're growing. That's pretty cool. I feel like there's messages in here about love, a broken heart, renewal that takes place over time. What about manifesting, God? Like, how do we manifest things? If we are God, then why can't we just manifest stuff? I want to get into this manifesting things stuff. What we got on this? He shows me that there's a human being who instantaneously feels they've earned it or they deserve it. And nothing stands in the way of what they want. Not even subconsciously are they standing in their own way. Now there's another human being that's clogged full of these dresser drawers with mixed matched socks and clothes strewn about, and they want things. They don't even want to clean up their own mess. They just want what they want. God says, it's not even God says, it's more like inside yourself says. Subconscious says, I'm more focused on these dresser drawers than I'm focused on wanting more. Because I can't even function. I can't even move properly because I have all these dresser drawers and clothes strewn about and mixed matched socks. Nothing in my life is right. And I'm focused on trying to get this into balance. Where another person doesn't even feel a relationship with being out of balance. They just want this thing. And then just bam, it just comes to them. There's some people that are just so much simpler in how they experience life or express themselves, and everything comes easy to them because they aren't, it's almost like they always keep their drawers in place. And they subconsciously don't develop a relationship with problems like other people can become attached to problems. So he says, here's $1 million. What is in the way of you and that $1,000,000? Do you know what's in the way of you and that $1,000,000? Do you feel like you need to earn it? Do you feel like that is possible for you? All these different things, like I could just have $1,000,000, or like, no, $1,000,000 just doesn't grow on trees, like all these concepts about money that say I can't have, I can't have, I can't have. This is all our subconscious drawers that are kind of open up with a mixed max socks. Versus we don't have any of that going on, and we can just have $1,000,000. So when it comes to manifesting things, it depends on how much you believe in just having that something. And sometimes you'll feel motivation inside yourself to do this, to do that, to do this other thing. And you'll be like, nah, not today, nah, not today. And those are actually the stepping stones that are leading you to that $1,000,000. But perhaps the drawers are too heavy. Perhaps the life lessons and you're holding onto the bars still. Instead of letting the problems go and focusing on how to grow and how to manifest abundance or how to manifest a soulmate, you're focusing on what is wrong with yourself, what is wrong with your life, and thinking about the things that that make you feel confined and afraid of self-expression, of loving yourself, of being cool and confident. And feeling like maybe you have to be these things in order to have a soulmate, when maybe you could just be the dresser drawer and have a soulmate too. So this is interesting because God is showing me the human mind trying to make sense of how do I need to be in order to have things. Is part of what gets in the way of manifesting things right this second. How do I have to be? What does that mean to me? How will that affect all the people in my life? Can I just simply have that? Maybe that's being selfish, on and on and on. Why can't we just have that thing? Simple enough. God is showing me keywords. And I'm trying to find one that I really like here. Okay, this is interesting. I find this interesting. I wasn't even thinking about money with this one. I was thinking about soulmates, but the word gold came to me as a key word. And if we say, God, show me gold, but we don't label it like show me money, show me a soulmate, or we don't define it. We just simply say, God, show me gold, and let it be whatever it wants to be. Maybe it's, I don't know, like... I mean, gold could manifest in so many different ways. You have to actually become very curious about it. Surprise me, God. Show me gold this week, and I can't wait to see what gold ends up meaning this week in my life. And so when you take away the labels, it becomes more like you're more open to receiving something that is undefinable, But gold has a very positive vibration to it. And so it can manifest something of the equivalent meaning to your subconscious selves, to even your conscious selves, to the world and experience that you're living in. Show me gold. But it has to be a feeling of love and relationship with gold in a loving way. Like, show me green in my life this week, God. Show me green. And green might come up as vitality, might come up as... fruits and veggies. It might come up as like opportunities to go for a walk. It might come up as like a really great experience playing soccer with your kids. It might come up as like a really awesome dream where you were flying and if you felt free and like you were young again or something. It could come up as anything. Like, so green could be anything it wants to be. Green could also be money, right? It could show up as a bonus, an unexpected bonus. It could show up as a gift from somebody that you just surprise you with a box of chocolates or something. Show me green this week, God. But when we become attached to the word like I'm ready to meet my soulmate, we define, there's more of us, our inner collective, defining what that means. And when we need to just, it's almost like come up with like keyword, like fill my life with flowers. But flowers doesn't mean exactly flowers. It could be anything that brings a fragrant energy into your life that makes you feel like you're smelling like beautiful flowers. And it could be experiences that remind you of that. I was thinking about another side of the story, like help me come to peace with create an image of a wound on a leg, right? Help me come to peace with this wound inside myself, whatever that looks like, whatever that may be. And I'm ready. If that's a difficult conversation, if that's going to make me nervous, like, you also have to challenge yourself to face the wounds inside yourself, because to truly receive them, to truly have abundance, to truly be able to enjoy and reap the reward of that abundance, you have to feel happy. Like, you have to feel secure. You have to feel confident. Like, you got to face these wounds, you know? So you have $1 million in an energy field full of gut rot. Like, how are you going to really enjoy life when you're afraid to leave your house? You know, so there's things like this that we need to say, I'm ready to face this. It's interesting because I kind of want to try this out. Like, what do you guys think about this? Like you could even say, for instance, God, I'm going to take Ruby this week. Show me Ruby this week. And then just put it out there and think about the feeling of Ruby and what that feeling feels like to you. Not what Ruby might stand for, like love or Valentine's Day or soulmates, but maybe just Ruby, just whatever it wants to be this week, whatever it wants to be. And it could feel like something very voluptuous and wonderful in your heart. Or you could choose to face something that feels vulnerable because you want to you want to heal that, and you want to fill your world with more light. And this time you're in control. It's like there's no surprises here. You're in control, as in, I'm ready this week. I'm surrounded by angels. I'm ready for facing and then show it God image of this wound in my energy field. Whatever that actually looks like or means, I'm ready for this. My guides are like talking to me about me and myself and how I work with my heart. And so when I explore the look of a wound, I feel that location in my heart. Like I feel like I know that I need to face something with communication, because I'm looking at things going on in my life and I'm looking at how I'm afraid of this. And I'm ready to, I welcome in opportunities to work on these lessons, because I'm acknowledging that I'm struggling with them this week and they're coming up on their own. So I feel surrounded by my angels. I feel protected. I'm ready to work on my throat chakra this week. And I know that I need to. I just instinctively know I need to. So you're going to have times where you just instinctively know these lessons are happening, and maybe they feel like really difficult, okay? Or maybe you just feel you're confident enough this week, like something is telling you inside yourself that it's time now. It's time that I have that conversation, or it's time, and that conversation I'm afraid of. It's like opening the door to you being in control of weaving the fabric of your own life, okay? You are in control. So on Monday or on Sunday, like, you know how we have like a start of the week, like you could say, okay, Sunday, I'm going to think about what I want to work on next week. And you can have fun with it. Like, I know I need to work on these difficult lessons. I'm going to pick two things. So God, I know I need to work on slowing down. I've been really overly, I've been pushing myself way too hard. I just feel like I have been, whether that's true or not. I just feel strong, like I need to slow down. So I'm going to think about snails. That reminds me of slowing down. So God, I'm choosing to work with snail energy this week, okay? But God, I also want to, because I've been working so hard and I'm wanting to slow down, I want to work with giving myself, like, receiving. So for some reason, receiving is looking like the color green, like emerald green, okay? So God, I want to work with emerald green. So share with me experiences that remind me of this snail energy and emerald green. And I can't wait to be surprised at what this means to me. Now you see, again, God is showing us that we're not clutching the bars of our own self-imprisonment. We're turning the tables, we're turning around and facing opportunity. And we are choosing to be in control of our own life. Not feeling like I'm just saying this and I want to have that, but not knowing what's all inside of us that is just like cluttering up or mucking up our ability to just simply access these experiences, manifest $1 million. So, okay, we're going to test this, okay? All right, so Okay, so, let's just say we're in a situation. I'm going to try this out. If you guys try this out, you should at least come back and comment on what your choices were. Like what your keywords, like if you want to do one keyword, two, three keywords or something, what they were, and then how you received from those keywords. Because this is going to help us manifest. Okay, so let's say we know, because everybody seems to want to manifest money these days. Like, who doesn't want? Okay, who doesn't want? Because when you have money now, you can go to fancy restaurants, you can pay your bills, etc. Okay, so let's say we're wanting to manifest money. Because we know that we have our car payment and we have no idea how we're going to make the car payment. So it's Sunday and we're like really stressed out and I'm sick of this relationship with money and nothing ever works out with me. These are oftentimes like the type of feelings that come up when it comes to relationships with money that kind of are like the drawers that are getting in the way of you just getting money. Okay. So let's just see. I just want to feel this energy out. Okay. So I'm going to work with gold. Okay. And for some reason, the color orange. All right. And God is showing me that if you really were to sit in this feeling, okay, like let's say you're feeling nervous and you have no idea how the money's going to come to you and you don't even believe it is going to. Now we found a wound. And God says, okay, now just acknowledge that you're afraid. Acknowledge that there's friction. So this week you're going to work on lessons related to lack. And you want to explore this. It doesn't necessarily feel like a wound. Maybe it feels like a hole in your heart. Maybe it feels like you can't breathe, like you're choking in your throat or your lungs are very heavy. Maybe it feels like your head is dizzy. Maybe it feels like sciatica down your leg. I don't know. But sit with it. This is actually feeling this out, okay? So you're talking to God about things that you need, okay? And so there's a conversation about lack. Okay, I'm going to work on my relationship with lack then this week. This is coming up for me. See how you're putting matters in your own hands and you have control here? So let's say lack is the color red-orange. Okay, God, help me to work through the feelings of lack and my fear of having, or whichever this is about that I can't understand in my mind. I'm ready to work on these lessons this week. And for some reason, the color green, emerald green, is coming back as, and I want to work on receiving. This is so peculiar because I get to experience this like, if we are really going to work on vulnerable lessons like on a Sunday so we can be ready for a Monday of what there's going to be times where we're going to say things that are going to be hard and we're going to sit there and we're going to battle with it. Like let's say there's a discomfort where you don't feel like, let's say you're in a relationship and you don't feel heard, okay? And it feels like scary. And you don't want to have that conversation. So on a Sunday, you could say, I've been going through this for several weeks now, and I just, there has to be another way. There has to be a way. So maybe like I'm seeing like this image of an angel, okay? Say, okay, I'm going to work with this image of a white angel, and this angel represents my fear, facing my fear of having a conversation that's really hard to have. Maybe you made a choice that wasn't honoring of the relationship, or maybe you felt like misinterpreted or something. But there's a difficult conversation that has to have. So you're choosing to say, okay, I'm open to that conversation. But I can feel like the steps and the vulnerabilities and the messy drawers and the mix-match socks that get in the way. But here we are actually having like a therapy session with ourselves, preparing for the week of what we want to experience this week, as kind of molding and shaping the experiences of our life and being in control of that, being our own God consciousness with that. Because we are here to work on the lessons, we don't have to feel imprisoned by them. We can feel open to receiving guidance, and actually specifically explore what we're going through and what we want, how we want to work through it in this next week, and expect it to be like a process that you get to be surprised by as how this week goes. And then you can write it in a journal and say, okay, my key words were this and this because I want to work on these things. And then write in your journal, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. This is so interesting. Okay, this Sunday I'm going to work on this and this for this next week. And then these are the reasons why. And then just see what happens. Oh, God's like clapping, like super excited about where this is going, because this is legit, man. This is like legit answers here, This is exciting. God is encouraging us to use words like fun and laughter. God is encouraging us to use words like breath, purification, like even try out words like the element of water this week, the element of fire, the element of earth, the element of spirit. Like there's so much, like even pull out a dictionary and just pick a word, and like it just like kind of run through and see what the word is, and then make it fun for yourself and say, okay, I pulled out a dictionary and just picked a random word, and the word was this, so let's just see what this word means to me next week. Have fun with it. This is your life and it can be fun. It doesn't have to feel imprisoning. It can feel empowering. And remember, life is the story of life. And if you're feeling caught up in the moment, this is an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with God and pick out 2 key words. God, I'm frustrated with this. This is about soulmates. Like, I feel lonely, okay? Let's try this one. Let's see if there's something that comes up here. I mean, I feel so bright talking about this. It's like it's hard to tap into like feeling vulnerable. Like it's like I feel so happy right now. So God is saying, okay, so let's say you're feeling lonely. So next week, is your word going to be, for next week, is it going to be loneliness, or is it going to be something else? Like, would you say I want to work on loneliness next week? Or would you say something like gummy bears? Or would you say something like cartoons? Or would you say something like laughter and joy? So you could take a feeling that is really bothering you, like romance, like let's say it just doesn't feel like there's any romance here. You could say red roses. Because that could represent romance in bloom without using the word romance. Like there's different creative ways that we can explore receiving that nurtures those types of feelings in a positive way. But there could be like a vulnerability, like I had this difficult conversation. I'm going to use an angel of white light, and it gives you security. It gives you safety in exploring that and seeing what comes. So there's like, we can turn anything that's hard into something that is kind of abundantly exciting and full of surprises, even if we're nervous. And you can always say angel as a key word. I want to work on communication, but maybe not. The word communication could feel like, oh God, communication. Maybe do something like singing. The word this time is singing. I want to explore singing. And see how that changes the energy flow of your week. Because instead of going into the week where you're subconsciously processing communication, you actually had a conversation with God in your journal or whatever, and we're exploring how this week made you feel and things that you want to explore next week. And instead of it being about communication and I'm scared about this, I'm going to explore singing, because that makes me feel free and makes me feel like I can express myself. So that's a positive word, right? But now expect, like get excited to see how singing plays into your life in the next week, okay? So that's what God has to say. That was so fun. So again, the ruby comes up. Life is about the difficult and the beautiful, right? But we're learning in each experience. And these tips at the end here are giving us an edge on how to get excited as we work through life. So if we were Mrs. Jumbo in the prison cell, what would be some of her keywords in order to go through her experience? So she would be sad is probably one feeling. She would be angry. She'd probably feel confused. These are kind of feelings that she would probably be going through in that moment. So what keywords, like her conversation with God, and what keywords would help her to kind of manifest some kind of control that is positive in the coming week, like shifting the energy away from holding on and attaching to the prison bars of I'm sad and I'm angry and I don't understand why, to something else, letting go of the prison bars and saying, smile, smiles, empowerment, self-love. I want to work on smiling, and I want to work on empowerment, and I want to work on self-love. And these are really deep and meaningful words. And you're opening the doorway and saying, I'm holding on the prison bars of the negativity, but I'm not now, because I'm ready to work on these keywords in this coming week and see how that alters, it changes the flow of my relationship with this moment. Because God really wants us to have incredible, abundant lives, not a lifetime of holding onto the bars for years when you could have actually stepped back, turned around, and had some new experiences to help shift you into a new vibe that changes things in unbelievable ways. To be open to that, okay? All right. So that was a part 2. Okay, cool. Not what I expected. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is a freaking long message. For all of you who got to the end, 2 thumbs up. Thank you for finding your way to the very end here. I hope you find these tips useful. I'm going to be trying this out. This is so cool. Like, I'm really excited about this. It's so easy and so effective. Like, I really relate to it. All right. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you have an awesome week. If any of you are interested in exploring a psychic session with me, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. I'm also on Patreon at patreon.com/abbeynormalswisdomquest. All right, bye for now, everybody.